All right, all right. Yeah, we're glad to get here. Sounds like my intro had a little double music playing on it. I'm not sure about that. But hey, this is George Walker. I want to welcome you to the BFTAA and More show. I am here at the WEB, the Boys Learning Center, the home of KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. So we're here today to get just before Christmas. This is our pre-Christmas show. So everybody get ready for the Christmas is coming, and I hope you've got your shopping done. I haven't, but, looking to do more or do some anyway. Also, this is pre-Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa will be starting by the time we do our next show, or on the day of our next show will be the first day of Kwanzaa. So stay tuned, and we'll be bringing you some information about Kwanzaa as we get into that season, which is here upon us right now. So we're ready to prepare for the celebration. Hey, you can listen and tell your friends about the KUAW Radio. This is Kansas City's fast-growing internet radio station. You can pick us up live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're on those. Every time we have a live broadcast, we broadcast on there. And then we broadcast audio side 24 hours a day. If you go to the TuneIn radio site, online radio box, my radio tuner, or mytuner.com, or if you have an Apple Fire Stick or not Hulu, but Roku, you can also pick up KUAW Radio there. Just go into those sites and search for KUAW. Also, if you have Get Me Radio, we're on there. So there are a lot of different ways you can listen to us. If you have a smart speaker, a Google or Amazon smart speaker, tell it to play KUAW. Now, if it's anything like my Alexa, I have to fight with it and argue with it to get it to play KUAW. It wants to do KUOW, and that's not it. But once I got it together and we're understanding each other after we got to fighting, me and Alexa did, now we can say KUAW, and it will put us on. It calls it KUAW. KUAW from Kansas City's radio. But that's all right. We're right here, and we're broadcasting to you today, and we're glad to be here with you. Well, there's a lot of things to talk to you about. Our Lego team, and I'm going to try and upload some pictures in a second and during the break I do while I show you the NASA, to see if I can get some of the pictures of our Lego team who competed in their first Lego robotics tournament Saturday over at North Kansas City High School. So we were there, the kids were competing. They didn't do as well as we wanted them to do. They're a little bit down on that, but it was their first time in competition, and we let them know that they've got to work harder, hold their heads up high, get ready for the next time, and we know that they're going to be a better showing out of them, because now they know what the competition is about, what it's like, and how serious you have to really take it if you want to be good. So we're going to get started. We always like to tell you a little bit about what's going on at NASA, and one of the things we have to show today is Space to Ground. Excuse me. We don't have the this week at NASA. It looks like they're taking the rest of the year off because I think they haven't been on since the Thanksgiving break, so they're getting them a little R&R in there. But we do have Space to Ground, so we're going to bring you that right now. So here comes Space to Ground from NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. If we can find that for you.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Kayla LaFrance. Today we're coming to you from Space Center Houston, the official visitor center of NASA's Johnson Space Center. And this is America, the command module for Apollo 17.
We have ignition, 2, 1, 0. We have a liftoff. We have a liftoff, and it's lighting up.
This week, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 17 mission, the last human mission to the moon, and the splashdown of Artemis 1, marking the beginning of NASA's commitment to return humankind to the moon and onto Mars.
Splashdown. From Tranquility Base to Taurus Littrow to the tranquil waters of the Pacific, the latest chapter of NASA's journey to the moon comes to a close.
This weekend, the Artemis 1 mission came to a successful close when the Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off the Baja coast near Guadalupe Island. During its 25-and-a-half-day mission, the Orion spacecraft traveled over 1.4 million miles. After its journey around the moon was concluded, the vehicle headed home where it reached re-entry speeds of 24,500 miles per hour. That's Mach 32.
And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
Following its successful launch last month on NASA's Space Launch System rocket, Artemis 1 tested the Orion spacecraft on a rigorous mission in the extreme environment of deep space around the moon. This mission was a critical step before flying astronauts on Artemis 2 in 2024. On Wednesday, December 14th, an external leak was detected from the Roscosmos Soyuz MS-22 spacecraft docked at the Rosvet module on the International Space Station. The Roscosmos Mission Control Team in Moscow decided to postpone the spacewalk by cosmonauts that was planned for Wednesday evening in order to evaluate the situation and data from the Soyuz spacecraft. The crew members aboard the space station were not in any danger during the leak and are conducting normal operations. The external radiator cooling loop of the Soyuz is the suspected leak source. Specialists on the ground are working on plans for a robotic survey of the Soyuz spacecraft. A Roscosmos spacewalk scheduled for December 21st is indefinitely postponed as the team continues its investigation of the Soyuz spacecraft. Also this week, NASA astronauts Josh Cassada and Frank Rubio are preparing for their next DVA. The duo will exit the station's Quest airlock to install an International Space Station rollout solar array designed to augment power generation on the 4A power channel on the port truss of the orbiting laboratory. This will be the fourth of 6 IROSAs to be installed. When completed, the IROSAs will increase power generation capability by up to 30%, increasing the station's total available power from 160 kilowatts to up to 215 kilowatts. Live coverage will be provided for all upcoming EVAs, so follow us on social media or head over to NASA Television, the NASA app, or the agency's website for more information and times. That's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right. Yes, that's a little bit of Space to Ground for you. Let's see if we can get that down. Yes. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of what's going on up in outer space and how NASA continues to make the plans as going back to the moon. And that is something that is very exciting, and we should all be looking forward to that. There's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. I know we listen a lot of times to the different protests that have been going on, and we talked about Colin Kaepernick, and the fact that he still isn't back in the NFL, that they have kind of banned him from the protests. But he's in good standing with a lot of other protests that have went on before in the Olympics, in sports in general. Blacks, African Americans, and blacks around the world have been protesting. If you remember in the 2022 Olympics over in Tokyo, they took a knee for Black Lives Matter. And one of the early protests that kind of set the stage for this was done by John Carlos and, Tommy Smith. And that was in the 1968 Olympics. I think I have a picture of that, and I want to see if I can bring that to you right quick. But protesting among athletes that want to do more with that podium that they have when people are watching than to just be used, or as long as they're doing sports, it's okay, but don't have a thought about anything else going on with you, then you're all right. But if you start thinking about the way people are treated and things like that, and trying to make a difference in it, then that's when you can get in trouble. Let's see, trying to find these photos I got here. I think I got some photos, I want to say. Intro photos, it was, maybe I didn't load those, I thought. Well, we may not be able to bring you those photos right now. I thought I had pulled them down, but I'm not seeing them where I thought I put them. In KUAW's folder for photos. Okay, these computers can sometimes throw you into a different loop at times. Let's see. I know I did a download of it. Let's see if we've got them there. All right, we're going to get you these photos one way or another. Find out where they are. Here they are. Oh, they went to the OneDrive. Great, like it needed to get them up there online. Sometimes we save pictures and we can't pull them up, but let me get that to you. Hang on just a second, just a second. Yeah, that's one of the pictures I want to show you, so I will throw that in there right now. There. Okay, in 1968, Tommy Smith and John Carlos gave a black fist salute when they had won their race that they had competed in while they were accepting their medals. They stood on the podium, and you see they have their hands raised with the fists. And the reason that one has his left and the other one has his right hand up is they only had one pair of black gloves. So one of them had to wear the left hand, one of them had to wear the right hand. But they were protesting, and because of that protesting, they were banned from Olympic competitions. They didn't compete in races after that time. You didn't see them, and they were really kept out of getting jobs and all of that. But it mentions also here that when mentioned at all in U.S. history books, the famous photos appears with almost no context. So you see history, but you maybe don't get the whole thing when you're in school. For example, in the United States history places, or in Pearson Prentice Hall's United States history, it places the photo opposite a short 3-paragraph section. Young leaders call for black power. The photo's caption says simply that U.S. athletes Tommy Smith and John Carlos raised gloved fists in protest against discrimination. So the media and school curricula failed to address the context that produced Smith and Carlos. That famous gesture of resistance, it was the product of what was called the revolt of the black athlete. Continue reading. So if you want to find out more of that, look at Fist of Freedom. That's a story that's not generally taught in schools about this, because a lot of times they'll say they're just protesting or wanting black power, and they don't give you any context as to what was going on and why they did that protest with the fist stop. So for your kids, for yourself, you can study that. Go to the library and look for the book called Fist of Freedom, an Olympic story not taught in school. It's out now. I don't know who the press is of it, but it's Fist of Freedom, an Olympic story not taught in school. And it talks about why they did what they did, what was going on in the country when they did what they did, and puts it into a little more context, because sometimes you can see something and you think you know the history and just say, well, they were protesting at the Olympic Games. Well, what were they protesting? What did they try and protest before this? Was there some protests that people didn't listen to? Things that you need to look so that you really know what the history is. And also, I was looking at another one that was a little known Black history fact of a protest during the Olympics, and I'll see if I can get that photo up for you. Just a second. But yes, I've been running today and didn't get a chance to get all of this stuff lined up before I came down here, but let's look at this next photo. All right, this photo here. And this was a picture of two athletes on the podium as they had completed and they were getting this was the medal ceremony. And if you see that while the anthem was playing, they had their arms crossed or hands on hip, pretty casual looking. And this went on in the 1972. So this was the very next Olympics after Tommy Smith and John Carlos had did their protest in 68 with the clenched fist. Now you have Vince Matthews, let's see who's the other, and Wayne Collette. So they both were protesting the Olympics or protesting for blacks in 1972. You don't see this. It doesn't have the picture that grabs you with the clenched fists and stuff. But for standing like they're standing, and when he left off, they even got banned for life for this. Vince Edwards is a track and field athlete. He was known for his skills in the 400 meter. He won 2 gold medals at the 68 and 72 Olympics. Wayne Collette, who was also banned, competed alongside Matthews at the 72 Olympics in Munich, Germany, and won a silver medal. But instead of celebrating their wins, they protested. Although they weren't the first to protest in the major games, what happened to them afterwards would set a precedent for the future. So instead of standing at attention on the podium to receive their awards, Matthews and Collette were dressed in casual post-race clothing, standing with their hands on their hips during the national anthem. Once the anthem ended, Matthews walked off, twirling the gold medal around his fingers before exiting into the tunnel, and the crowd booing him in response. Collette had exited but reappeared to collect his sweats. As he left the tunnel a second time, he turned toward his fellow USA athletes in the stand, clenched his right fist, and raised it in the air for all to see. The athletes could have never guessed it would cost them everything they worked so hard for. Shortly after, the Olympic Committee banned Matthews and Collette from the Olympic Games for life. The men stood tall on their decisions and never wavered for the media or anyone else. They acknowledged how they stood at attention for years but chose to stop due to the social injustices and disparities that were happening at the time. So now, 50 years later, from that 72 incident, the International Olympic Committee Executive Board has decided to reverse Matthews' bans and stated he would be accredited for future Olympics if requested. The committee has not shared their reason on this spontaneous decision, but we can best constitute it to be the same social justice issues and disparities in America becoming heightened and are very prevalent today. So Collette joined the ancestors in 2010 due to a cancer, but at 74-year-old Matthews can bask in the honor for both of them. It's been a long time coming, but it is well-deserved nonetheless. So their ban for protesting in the Olympics has been lifted. We can hope that for Colin Kaepernick at some times that he will be vindicated for his stand and for what he believed in. So that's the thing, that sometimes it may cost you to show that you're a man or you're a woman, or that you don't want to be ignored or treated in a second-class way. But you have to know that with those protests can come some retribution or some revenge or some hate. But that's part of the battle that people have been fighting. Everybody didn't love Martin Luther King at the time that he was doing. Now you hear on the holidays all the speeches and everybody's talking good about him. White, black, Republican, Democrats, they're all this Martin Luther King Day and to look at what he did. But I can tell you for a fact in 68 and 69, it was a different story. It wasn't that everybody loved Martin Luther King. There were a lot of people up until even after he was shot that hated him, basically hated him. So just remember that as you go forward in life, that you will have to sometimes getting your rights, getting your freedoms, getting what we deserve in life may come at a cost. And we need to be aware of that. All right. We want to change the subject. I didn't get a chance to download those pictures that I wanted of the team, and they're hiding in the computer pretty well. I tell you, some of these things just really decide to give me a harder time when I need them to be a little easier on the old guy. But we're not seeing those pictures from. And they were really pretty nice. Let's see if we can. I don't even see the drive. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see. License. Nope, it's not there. This. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Doesn't look like. Wait a minute. We may have come across the pictures at the last minute. Oh, I tell you, we had a great time out, though. It was a long day. I have to give my hats off to our coaches and the parents that were there that were really supporting what we were doing. And we had a great time. The kids had a great time, other than they didn't win. Which they let me know that they did want to do that. So that's definitely a part of what we want to bring to them in the coming year. Let's see, I'm looking through some of my pictures now. So, I want to always give them their props and show you some of what they were doing. I have to try and pick a couple of good pictures. Not, let's see. But we learned a lot, and we know we've got to do even better as we go forward. But we will get there. Okay, that's them out with their robot, yes. From my angle, it didn't get all the shots the way I wanted to get them. Okay. I tell you, this is a hard thing to bring in there. But if you have a young person that you would like to get involved in robotics, and now we're getting ready to take our kids into a drone program, that's going to be the next program we have coming up. You definitely want to get them enrolled and in contact with us, because we're just starting a brand new. We've never done drones before either, but that's what it's about, is discovering the fun that you can have, learning right along with the kids on how to do some things that you maybe never did before. There's the kids with their medals. Okay. So we've got some of these. What is it doing with them? We'll see what we can do. Oh, it copied all of them. Well, that's what we needed. All right. We hate to keep you watching me struggling along with getting these photos out of here, but I do want to show them to you, because I think our kids need to be shown in all their glory anytime we get a chance to, because the young people They do work hard. They do, and we deserve to celebrate our young people at all times. Okay. We got them copied over here. Just a second. We'll have this little home movie showing for you, or we'll have some kind of little image show here. Okay, now let me start us a slideshow. Not that one. We'll get one going here. Oh, we got one for robotics. Great. Yep. So our VEX team would be the next one up, and we'll have to see how that team, we don't have as many high school students participating in it this year as we wanted to have, and we may have to grow them up out of our Lego team, which that's what we had did pre-pandemic, is that we were able to bring the kids up through Lego and into VEX. And we're going to have to do a little bit of that again. So it's going to take us a little longer coming back from the pandemic than we had thought. Okay, yeah, you're seeing those pictures there. So this is going to do us just fine. Let's see. We'll take the old pictures out and put the new pictures in. You've seen our coaches and all before. Now let's see if we can add some files. Let's see, where'd we put them? Okay, pictures. Oh man, I tell you, this is fun, but we'll get it for you. Here we go. And if we, there. Now, all right, this is this year's robotics team. This is them at competition. So got a few slides. Those are the kids when their robot had finished and they were getting scored. That's them putting the robot down in action. That's actual tournament time. So they had to program the robot to do some things. That's them waiting to get their recognition at the end. That's the cool and powerful robotics team. That's their superpower trophies that they receive, says superpower. And that's what they received for participation in the event. But they didn't place, and that's where, and I was proud of them, and they're not happy with being in second place, or being not in second place, but being in last place coming up, that they want to do better. And that's the thing. Sometimes you have to have a defeat in order to get back on your feet. So these kids, we got some good programmers. We've got some good creative minds, and we're going to continue to work with them. And by next year, we're going to see a lot better performance out of these young people. Those are two of the young lady over here is good on the design side, and the gentleman over on your left, he is an excellent programmer. And I think he's got the potential to do really good, but he's definitely a competitor and wants to win. So we're going to be working with them next year and get them out there to do a lot better and to grow in this program. And it's not all about the robot and what it can do on the field, but they have to learn how to work together. Teamwork is very important. They had to present their robot project to judges, and judges asked them questions about what they were doing, what they were working on, how they got it built. We've got rubrics to see that we're going to go over with them on how they were judged, because they didn't let any of the coaches or parents go into the judging room when they were giving their presentation. The kids had to do that all themselves. So they went in the room, they closed the door, and they're in there talking with the judges and asking questions. And these are 9-year-olds to 12-year-olds we have in there. So they're learning to speak up for themselves, to tell people what they've done, to get that public speaking ability out. So it's really good. So I think the Lego robotics program, well, I think any of these competitive robotics program where the kids have to actually present, they have to go up against other people that are doing the same thing to see how well they can compete. But they also have to do things like be judged and show sportsmanship. We had to tell our kids a little bit about being a good sport, even if you don't win, that you have to go ahead and be a good sport throughout. So they're learning that, and they're starting to learn that early. So we're glad and we're happy for them. I also want to give a big shout out to our freshman coach, who was Miss Valencia Griswold, who hadn't did this before, had no idea about Lego robotics, and came in and worked with the kids, excited and ready to get better and to do more with these young people. So I think they've got a good coach. Miss Mildred Walker was Valencia's assistant. She worked well with them, and the parents that came out. We had parents that came out and supported their kids and were there with them. So a big salute to all of them. So if you get a chance, just put that into the chat or comments on our KUAW side or our BFTAA Facebook page, and give a shout out to our young people that were in the Lego League robotics tournament at the North Kansas City High School Saturday, December the 17th. So, yeah, they'd love to hear that the community is supporting them also. So if you could, we would appreciate you taking and dropping a line to our young people. I'm going to post some of those pictures you just saw on Facebook, and you can and on Instagram. And I'd like for you to put some comments that we can read back to the kids for the work that they did, for putting themselves out, and to the parents that supported them. We do this out of love for our young people and to help our young people to grow, to be better, to make them aware of some of the opportunities that are out there for them, because you can't strive to be something that you don't even know exists. But if you see it and you see that it's something that is obtainable, then you can strive for that. If you're around engineers, if you're around people that are creating and designing and doing electrical work and stuff, you can see yourself in it. If you see people that look like you that are doing it, then that is a positive reinforcement that too can be for you. So that's what we want to expose our young people to, is all the different avenues. Yes, it would be good to win every competition you go into, because I mean, like any parent or coach, you'd want to be proud of your team. But more than that is that they're getting to see something, they're getting to participate in something that a lot of kids don't participate in, that they can see a future that can be unlimited possibilities. So I hope you would support our Lego League. You can always make donations. We do this from the money that we raised on Giving Tuesday. I want to thank everyone that gave money on Giving Tuesday. We had one person come in and donated $180 online. Facebook people, you really stepped up. A lot of my friends, a lot of people that I didn't even know, and I saw donations from. We didn't raise a huge bunch, but it's just good when you raise any money from people that want to support the work that you're doing. So continue to support us. Continue to support the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. KUAW Radio is a program of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. And I was on the phone this morning with another program that we're getting ready to start that is going to bring some young people in here, some more young people. We already got the Raytown Middle School, but we're getting ready to get some more young people. And if everything works out, that'll be in here in January. that will be doing some interesting things. I don't want to let too much out of the bag, but stay tuned as we go into this new year, because we want to keep working with our youth and we want to work with our families. We want the parents to always be involved in what we're doing, not just to support with cash, but come out and support. Come out and help and work. We had one gentleman that come in and sit down and talk with the boys and help to focus them on the work that they're doing. So it's always good that the community, it takes a village, and we want you guys to be part of our village. So if you're listening to this in Kansas City or in California or Washington, D.C. or New York or Florida or wherever you may be, you can help support this radio station that's going to be working more with youth, and the Lego robotics program, our VEX robotics program, and our new drone program. Our drone program is going to start in January. It's brand new. I don't think we even have a name for it yet, but we're wanting to work with the kids on drones. Let me see. This might be the next show with Michael. All right. So we're rolling along here and stuff. People will call while you're doing some stuff, but that's okay. This is a small show, small office right here, so we have to be the janitor and the phone operator and all at the same time, and we don't want to miss anybody. But that's about what I have for you today. This is not going to be a long show. As I said, I was running around today. There's Christmas time coming, and we're doing a lot of things around the house, so I didn't really get to prepare as well as I wanted to. But I did want to get on the air, let you know that Christmas is coming up. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas, because I won't be back on until after Christmas. Matter of fact, I'll be on when we start Kwanzaa. So, but hope you have a very Merry Christmas, that you spend some time with family, with friends, with loved ones. It's not all about the gifts and the giving, but sometimes it's about being present and with each other. So enjoy the holidays, enjoy some time with family, with friends, and remember what the season is about. It's not just about the gifts and the giving, but it is about the birth of Christ. That's right. That's we celebrating. I know people may have a discussion about if this time of year and this and that and other, but this is the time that we, as Christians, celebrate the birth of Christ. So December the 25th is a very important day in the Christian holiday schedule, and we want to be thankful. We're glad and I am a Christian. So I wanted to let you know that. So that's what I celebrate. It will be a holiday for me. If it's not a holiday for you, that's okay. I'm not mad at you. Don't get mad at me. All right? So go out and have yourself a good time. Enjoy. Remember what this season is all about, and get ready for Kwanzaa. I'll be back Monday, the first day of Kwanzaa. Look for me right here, KUAW Radio, BFTAA and more show. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. Bye-bye, y'all.